Hello and welcome to the SC20 News Desk. This series of interviews is part of SC20, the International Conference for High Performance Computing, Networking, Storage, and Analysis. My guest is Christine Cuicchi. She is the General Chair of SC20, and she is also the Director of the Navy Department of Defense Supercomputing Resource Center in Mississippi. Christine, so glad to have you with us.
Hi, it's great to be here. Thank you, Rich.
So in this global pandemic, why is supercomputing in general and SC20 in particular so vital to our whole planet?
So there's a lot going on, but I think one of the most important things right now is the COVID HPC consortium, the COVID-19 HPC consortium. It's U.S. led, but it's got a lot of different other countries participating with us. That's Sweden, Switzerland, Japan, several others. And we're bringing about 600 petaflops of HPC capability to bear, trying to solve several different issues with COVID. You know, how do we stop the virus? How do we treat the virus? How can we alert others quickly about any potential spread? How can we create a vaccine? So all of that is just incredibly important right now. And the way that HPC can be used to accelerate that kind of discovery is just incredibly important.
So you have been involved in this conference, this series of conferences over many years, but this year is different than all the others. How is it different?
Well, first of all, you're going to be able to enjoy all of it from the comfort of your own home or office or wherever you choose to view the conference itself. We have I think it's over 550 hours of content available for you to peruse at your leisure. We're going to be able to keep that content up for 6 months after the conference ends. But it's kind of amusing that one of the complaints that we've heard for a long, long time is that there's too much to do and not enough time to do it. Well, we've solved that for you this year, so hope you enjoy it. I do want to say that for our new attendees, we are going to have a welcome session just like we do any other year. So look at our social media for when that'll happen. We're also going to provide everybody, because even if you're not a new attendee to SC, this is a new way to attend SC. We're going to have a how to attend SC video. And again, just keep watching on our website and on social media for when that'll be up.
Great.
Something else we'll have too is a store. We know that people will miss the swag. They're going to miss, being able to go pick up goodies everywhere, but you will have the opportunity to have a little bit of SC20 at home with you via our online store.
Talk to me about some of the noteworthy speakers and topics.
Well, we've just announced our keynote speaker. It's Dr. Bjorn Stevens from the Max Planck Institute for Meteorology. He is going to talk about climate computing and Earth science and information systems, and how exascale can get us to a point, and then we kind of have to figure out what we have to do after that point, and what can exascale do for climate science and what it can't. So that's going to be particularly interesting this year. It's obviously been a very active hurricane season. There's a lot of fires going on in the U.S. So things like that are of crucial importance, and it kind of really highlights why we had this conference theme of more than HPC. We wanted to really focus on the problems that we're solving, not just HPC itself and how we solve them, but what are we doing with those problems and what are we doing with those answers.
Christine, I know that you're placing a lot of emphasis on diversity and inclusion this year. Talk to me about that.
So we had planned in Atlanta to have a really strong inclusivity program, because there are a number of historically Black colleges and universities located in Atlanta. We'd really hope to kind of sync up with them to show them how HPC can impact their lives, particularly with social issues in the Atlanta area. And we called it HPC in the City. We won't be able to have it quite the way we had hoped, but we still will have a hackathon that's going to involve students and faculty on that. The conference itself has focused for a few years on making sure that women have felt more included or are more included in the conference and have felt more welcome. And we're going to expand that to all underrepresented groups this year.
I know that's really been the case with the SciNet project. I've been involved, this will be my 5th year, and every year more women are involved, and more women are involved in leadership positions. So I know that that's been an effective program.
Yeah, it's definitely a focus for us. And this year marks the first year that you will be able to identify yourself as an attendee, as a member of an underrepresented group. So we're going to start tracing that this year.
Excellent. So I know that sometimes prospective attendees have to go to their bosses and say, it's really important for me to attend this conference, and here's why. So what evidence do you allow those prospective attendees? What's the pitch that they can give to their bosses as to why they need to be involved in an SC conference?
I think the breadth and depth of the conference is really important to recognize. It's not just technical talks that you can go to. It's not just tutorials and workshops that you can attend. There are people there. The best of the best in HPC are going to be there. It's by far the largest conference for HPC every year. You're going to be exposed not only to your peers, but some of the real thought leaders in HPC. You can also, it's an opportunity to meet some of the younger folks in HPC that you maybe can help along. But I think the lessons learned from going to SC conferences are really going to round out any employee's experience with HPC, making those contacts, those personal contacts and networking professionally are really, really important. So we're going to have a little bit of that available this year, but I would definitely encourage anybody to attend this year, especially if you're a first timer. It's a great way to get your foot in the door with a low pressure kind of way to attend the conference via online sessions. But it's definitely a way for folks to learn just an incredible array of things about supercomputing, anywhere from state of the practice type things where we're learning how to run a data center or the best ways to run a data center, improve HPC workflows, to some of the really intricate things about, for instance, artificial intelligence and machine learning.
We haven't talked a lot about students yet. Tell me about what's available to international students and, of course, students from the United States.
So our students program is extremely vibrant this year. We have a number of things going on. They've actually already started. If you go to our YouTube channel, you can see several interviews with our students and several webinars that the students at SC team has put together. We're also started this year something called HPC Immersion. So we recognize that there are underrepresented students in fields that are HPC or HPC related. And we wanted to help them get into HPC by bringing them to the conference and kind of having them mentored through the conference. So they would attend a session and then meet up with a mentor either before or after or both and start talking about, okay, what did I learn? What can I learn? What are the important takeaways here? So that's one of the cool things that we're doing this year. Another one that is really impressive is our first ever virtual student cluster competition. So we've got a record 19 teams participating in that. They're going to be doing all of the work, the applications and the benchmarks in the cloud. So it's still going to be a really competitive group of students working on that. And I'm really excited to see how that turns out. We've also got our student volunteers still. We thought it was really, really important that students be involved as much as possible in the conference because we recognize that things are a little topsy-turvy for them back at their institutions and back at home. So we are keeping the student volunteers involved. They're going to have their own program on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of the conference, 3 full days of that. And they're also going to be helping us with the Q&A in our virtual platform.
So to someone who has not quite made the decision, they're thinking about attending, what's your advice?
My advice is come on in. We are going to, again, like I said, we're going to have a video to tell you how to attend the conference. It's a great deal this year. We are less than half the cost of a normal conference year. We're even with this great deal on our tutorials and workshops. You're going to get a lot of bang for your buck this year. Something else that's important is we've got great invited speakers. They're going to be talking about anything from biodiversity and how we can make better decisions about the processes that we use to work with endangered species. We've got a great plenary. That's going to be more than HPC. We're going to have a lot of experts talking about COVID-19 and using HPC to address that. We're going to have people talking about what happens post Moore's Law, which is a really big question, I think, for all of us. State of the practice, again, I mentioned that's a particular focus of mine as I lead a supercomputing center. So the art of bringing in supercomputers, building them, putting them together, making sure they're up and ready to run for all of our users, all of that's going to be great. So we've just got a fantastic array of things for people to do and see at SC. We'll have our exhibits. We are going to have online exhibits. We've got a large number of those. You'll be able to interact with people at the booth. We'll also have our normal complement of posters. That includes the doctoral showcase and the scientific visualization and data analytics showcase. So we wanted to, when we were first talking about making this conference virtual, make sure that we had it as normally as possible, which meant having as much of a normal schedule and content as possible. So we recognize that some way, and we recognize that that 1 week was not enough to make that happen online. So we stretched it out to 2 weeks. So as you can see from our website, if you go and check the schedule, our tutorials and workshops and early career program are happening the week before SC normally would. So that's from November 9th through the 13th. And then we'll have the rest of the program from November 16th through the 19th. And that starts with our keynote and ends with our awards ceremony.
So you not only can take advantage of a conference that is a little bit longer than the typical one,
right,
but it stays up. It's going to be archived and available for some time afterward.
That's correct, for 6 months after the conference ends. So that should give you plenty of time to kind of take things in at your leisure. We certainly hope that you'll attend as much as you can the 2 weeks that we're online. That'll be particularly important with our papers and a lot of our technical program content. While our workshops and tutorials, the vast majority of those are going to be live and interactive, a fair number of our content, the second week is going to be pre-recorded. However, that's going to give you and the presenter an opportunity to interact through a live Q&A chat. So you can, if you attend online at the time of the broadcast of these sessions, that's really increases your opportunity to ask questions. And by having these pre-recorded, it allows the presenter to interact with you for 30 minutes instead of just the normal 5 or 10 at the end of their presentation.
Sounds like you're taking the flipped classroom idea and bringing it to SC.
We are.
Excellent. Well, Christine Cuicchi, anything else you'd like to say before we conclude our interview here?
Sure. I do want to thank our committee. So our committee has done a fantastic job turning this conference from normal to virtual in just a few short months. They've done an immense amount of work. I'm really very, very proud of them and very proud of the conference that we're going to be putting on. So I highly encourage you to attend. Our early registration ends October 19th. You'll still be able to register up to and through the conference, but we encourage you to get in early for a discounted rate. But I just want you to be part of the community that's online this year and talk about why we're more than HPC.
Christine Cuicchi, the General SC20 Chair, thanks so much for being with us on the SC20 News Desk.
Thank you, Rich. Appreciate your time.